Okay, what I would like to do here is just a quick video, a more descriptive, in detail video on Edward Leedskalnin's first home and property that he built on in Florida City. Not sure of the exact date when construction began. From what I can gather, there was a fairly long path coming up here to get to the ADM sign. You had to walk down a path through a lot of trees, fairly dense. Then you would come up to the admission sign. It is said that Ed was very proud of this when he built it. I feel it is an important feature. This sign is one of the only things that were left at Ed's place when he moved everything over to Rockgate and Homestead. Nobody's sure why he left it. It's said that he changed the admission to 25 cents. But how easy would it have been for Ed just to change that 10 cents to 25? So what we can speculate is the 10 cents is important. It was important to have the sign left back here on this property. It appears he left it as a clue. Now the whole park here, I believe, was elevated. It was up on a raised patio, as his quarries were probably all the way around. Kind of like Rockgate now is today. Kind of like a moat all the way around. That's the reason for the stairs. When you come up, you actually walk up into his park at Ed's place. The Feast of Love table, by accounts of people that were there and saw him moving stuff, they said it was there. It already had a hole in it, ready for a plant. The only thing I could figure out on where it would fit would be here, in this spot. I am not positive on the precision of where this heart table is placed, but I believe it was here. The twin beds, I feel they are there because of a picture found in a book in every home that is posted in Leedskalnin.com. It appears you're looking over a wall into the park. And I do believe the stones we see here in that picture, which I will show, the Florida table, from what I've heard, is one of the first things that Ed carved. And then he started on some of the rockers. And I'm talking for the furniture because Ed already had the large east wall up. first rocker that is set up on the sundial at Coral Castle. I'm not sure which one the first rocker is. It could very well be this one here, which I do believe is Ed's Sweet 16 chair. The reason that I believe that that is Ed's Sweet 16 chair is due to the video In Search Of. Where you see a young lady sitting in the chair. An older lady is standing over here, in between what we're going to call a couch and the large bench in front of the Florida table. In the video, Ed is rocking on this chair. There is a girl sitting in this chair, and there is a girl standing here. Ed is rocking on his chair. And he is looking forward as he is rocking. Also, he is glancing at the water in the porridge bowl. When the camera goes back to the girl rocking here and the lady standing here, it appears there is something going on. I'm not going to say too much on that. I'd like other people to watch that video more closely. Ed is actually at one point pointing over his shoulder towards the lady standing here. As far as we know, Ed was a virgin. And if there was some sort of sympathetic resonance going on in here, Ed mentions in A Book in Every Home that the woman that he married must be pure as well. And in my thoughts, someone pure needed to sit in this chair. I believe this to be a metal rod right beside the chair. I don't think that is a tree. And it's lined up right here. It's also lined up with the edge of Sweet 16's foundation. Like probably right off the corner of Sweet 16's foundation, straight through to the bandstand into the music room. If a pure male rocks on this chair, pure female rocks on that chair, let's say the experimental station is in here, then we should see some effects. I believe there is something going on there. It's a little bit like Ray Ramirez when he does the experiment with the 3-ton gate And he tells people to raise their arm. And he points the gate away from the people. And you're able to bring their arm down very easily. When the gate is pointed at them, or when the slot below the gate is pointed at them, then there is a lot of resistance and they're unable to bring down the arm. If we're looking at sympathetic energies and a harmony here, and you watch that video, it is very possible the experimental station is here. You do not want to put someone pure here when you're doing this experiment, because somehow it will make them less sweet. If they have already had children and are not as sweet, then it is fine for them to be there, and you will see the effects. I know that'll make some sense to someone. Now this large bench here, if you look at the pictures, I know I don't got it proper here, but it looks like it was cut right off of the end of the Florida table, and then he just set it down as a bench. This is now a table in behind the Florida table at Rockgate Park. He's raised it, and it is now a table. A number of these chairs around the Florida table ended up in the Grotto of the Three Bears at Ed's second place, Rockgate. Also the music room chairs ended up down around the Florida table too. When Ed made his throne room at Rockgate, here it was called the music room. When Ed made the throne room at Rockgate, he made all new chairs for up in the throne room. These ones ended up around the Florida table, and possibly around the Grotto of the Three Bears. Grotto of the Three Bears has always been a confusing name to me, because a grotto means kind of a cavern underground. Ed's bathtub remains the same, except for the stairs. The stairs go straight up and into Ed's bathtub at Ed's place. We're at Rockgate Park. These stairs here are going up this way, and Ed's bathtub is here. So the stairs are different. Another thing different is the moon fountain. When Ed moved the moon fountain over to Rockgate, for some reason, he ended up just planting a plant here. He didn't have a fountain coming out of it anymore for some reason. But what he did do was added another crescent to the other side of it. He moved this over to here, and the other crescent over to here. He was trying to show definitely different alignments between the two places, I think. Over here, as I mentioned in the other video, there is actually two stones like this, and they're not so cube-like. And they are in the Grotto of the Three Bears off of one of the couches. And it actually makes it look like a key if you look at an aerial view of Grotto of the Three Bears. course, he included the porridge bowl and the grotto of the three bears at Rock Gate. And he no longer had a gossip corner. What he ended up doing was mixing in his easy chair with this chair over here, which I haven't made correctly yet. A bunch of large chairs he put in and called it a reading room. Instead of a gossip corner, he has a reading room at Rockgate. The sun couch, he didn't place these chairs around the sun couch at Rockgate. These can be found around the grounds in different spots, these chairs. The star table, I believe, is over by the lunar dial wall, which would be in behind the Florida table at Rockgate. The repentance corner itself, he set in a different way also. He set it so that it juts in. First of all, he moved it over to the obelisk. And it stands by the obelisk and it juts in, and he's built a room off of that. So this wall here actually juts in this way, and then he's built a little room in there with some waveguides carved in, and then he's got the barbecue. So suddenly, if you could lay down here and you're looking north, now he's got it so you are looking west, I believe. If you lay down on here, you'll be looking west at a certain star. The crescent is the same. The star wall, he's actually flipped around so the star is now on the inside. And the obelisk itself, he has also turned around so that it's facing east and west. As I said before, with this structure here, I don't know if it was Ed's tomb, as there was a tomb mentioned. And someone was quite intrigued with his tomb. Ed wanted to be buried on this property, apparently. Now, if this is not a tomb, then this wall is not going to be open. I made it walk through, but it would be solid. But on the other side, in the pictures, we do see either a window or a doorway here. Window or a doorway right there. See if I can get the picture angle proper. No, Ed's sitting in his chair right here, and you look across and you see this structure, and there is a doorway right in there, or a window right in there. Another picture, famous picture. is Ed standing on the porridge bowl with his book in hand, and the book ends up right about here type deal. Of course, we're closer up, we don't see that. I believe the thing that everyone sees as an alien face or whatever is actually a chair or a block of stone or whatever. As I said before, I think this was the band stand where you could put your sheet music and play whatever instrument you were playing and look at your sheet music there. People would sit up here, play their instruments in the music room. Did Ed ever have an orchestra there? I don't think so. But I bet you it would have resonated really nicely. Another thing with Ed's bathtub, as we all know, the only thing we know of his tour for the most part is he would explain about the water level in the bathtub. And when he hopped into the bathtub, it would go up to the perfect level. And of course, he's talking buoyancy. It's referring back to Archimedes, I believe, etc., etc. I do not know where Ed's well is. Ed's well, it's possible it was just right in here. It would make a lot of sense if it was in here somewhere. And from what I've read, Ed's well went down below the water, and they wondered how he was carving the stairs below the water and stuff. He had his mirror here. And due to one picture that I saw, I think it possibly is over here. In an earlier reconstruction, I put it over here, but it's definitely not there. As for Ed's tower, it was all made out of wood. And he actually moved the whole thing off and transported it over to Rock Gate. I believe it was placed on the northeast side, and that is where he lived while he was constructing his living quarters and tool room, completely made out of large blocks. Ed took extreme care and time making all of this stuff. In the foundation for his Sweet 16, he took extra deliberate care making it. And paraphrasing once again, he said, "Nothing is too good for my Sweet 16." Now something happened, and all of a sudden he quit all work on this foundation and left it just the way it is. That's when he started working on all the stone furniture. I read something, I think it was in the affidavits, where Ed would come up from below to greet visitors. It's possible that he had a basement type deal. I'm not sure what that is all about. Same as Ed's tomb, there is only one mention of it. And why did he leave it there? I understand why he left all the small stone structures there. Why did he not build another tomb at his other place? Were the bylaws changed by then? Being that it had a pressure cooker at this place, he indeed would have had a hole over here to pump air through and get the flames going hotter. He could have forged metal, he could have done all sorts of stuff. We don't know how much experimenting he was doing here. But as far as we know, he did make all of his own tools here. He left a number of tools here too. Now, the trees, I've taken some out because it's just too much lag on this computer. There was a tree there, large tree here, also over at the gossip corner right around here. There's another large tree. Another large tree around here. The other trees are basically in the proper spots. And then these ones on the outside are just decoration. I think it was a small date pine that was sitting there. There's a number of trees outside. And also, there's some sort of logs, long timber that goes all the way down this wall. And what I was thinking was maybe that is where Ed stored his tripods in the pictures. But then in recent pictures I've seen of Ed's place, it appears that there is still something along this wall. So I'm not sure what that is. I just said Ed was in this tombstone business, and you'll notice with a lot of the backs of the chairs that they do actually look, some of them do actually look like tombstones, which is interesting. The repentance corner, Ed said, if Sweet 16, and this is really paraphrasing, if Sweet 16 ever felt down, she was blue, she could come and sit at the repentance corner, and there was sun there all day, and it would lift her spirits. I'm not sure if I've forgotten anything. If I have, I'll do another video. This is all subject to change. This is just my interpretation. Nothing's absolutely precise, including the scale. This was all done by eye. And if anybody has any ideas or any pictures that could help clarify things, that would be great. I know there's a ton of pictures in someone's attic, in the newspaper articles and the newspaper ads. Ed would say, make sure you bring your camera. Make sure you bring your camera. So we know there's lots of pictures of this place. Just not a lot have turned up yet. So I'm hoping in the future more will turn up and we can get something more accurate. But this is very close. It's as close as I can get it anyway. But thank you for your time, and that's all for now.